Yes, okay. So,
You let us know, we pledge.
okay, you're good. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which is stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And as a way of responding to learning creating awareness about our past, we begin our village board meeting by acknowledging that we focus on ancestral land with monthly survey for Lenape people. And I know we're working on updating this, but in the meantime, keep checking out our list that we keep expanding of ways to actually support Indigenous communities. It's on our agendas minutes.
I need a second on this messaging. To, potential issue.
Do you want me to see if I can try and get the agenda just on this screen also, so you can look up here for the agenda?
No. Do we have people online?
No.
I can get bigger. The announcements, can we
Yeah,
make
go
sure we
Do the announcements.
keep sharing the Pride Coalition resource page, like as a standing bullet, so that people know at least one more place to find it. Just because we've been continually adding to that, so I'll read it out. Yeah, just newpaltzpridecoalition.org, and then if you go there, then the resource page, so it's newpaltzpridecoalition.org/resources. And if there's anything, you know, missing from that list, let me know, we'll get it added. I also wanted to share some updates from our free food fridge, which exists right outside Village Hall here at 25 Plattekill Ave. Organization Millions of Butterflies that keeps it running, has some stuff going on in the coming days to make sure that 2025 is a year where everyone gets fed. So on the 24th, January 24th, there is a punk rock bake sale at St. Andrew's Church from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. So we can rock out at the church. So this is organized actually by a coalition of local, you know, kind of DIY music scene groups, as well as Millions of Butterflies, including Doors at 7, that group. So you get a free entry to one of the best shows around by helping Millions of Butterfly raise money selling baked goods. So if you can donate some baked goods, or have something to sit and sell, you know, at the punk rock bake sale on the 24th, St. Andrew 7 to 11. Let's help, you know, raise funds for some of the staples that go into the free food fridge and pantry and the cleaning supplies, and whatnot. And then on Sunday, I hope I have that written down. On Sunday, there's an event at Huguenot Street Farm, and I have to find that message, so I'll just share that out everywhere when I have that information. No, I have it. Sunday, January 26th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Down at the Huguenot Street Farm. If you want to help, you know, basically cook. The group is trying out the Chrysalis Kitchen, which is like the new version of Nut Bombs, to make sure we're keeping the fridge stocked. So if you want to cook with a group of people, stop by then. And that's it for me for now.
And I'll do my usual reminder about Family of New Paltz. If you want to help your neighbors, they're the #1 resource we have. They will take clothing in good condition if it is for the weather we are currently experiencing. They always particularly need personal hygiene products of any kind, anything from toothpaste and toothbrushes to sanitary napkins, you name it, tampons, all of it they can use. And cash, always money.
Here's my announcement. So some may have noticed that it snowed on Monday. What's important is when the snow stops, you have 24 hours, and then at 24 hours, your sidewalk must be cleared 30 inches wide. Also, if you're proximate to a fire hydrant, you have to clean around the fire hydrant. Also, if you're proximate to an intersection, you have to make sure there's a path for pedestrians to get to the intersection. So I just took a walk late afternoon, and there are several properties that seem to have overlooked that this law exists. We got a couple of calls where community members were complaining. You know, we don't want anyone to slip and fall. We don't want people not to be able to walk with baby strollers or wheelchairs or crutches or able-bodied people. These paths must be clean, free of snow and ice. And this is written in Village Code, chapter 175-11.
Awesome. I had one more update I forgot, that was gonna be in the announcements. So, all the different Pride, LGBTQ plus, Pride groups in the Hudson Valley, they're really trying to figure out, you know, how to make dates work without stepping on each other's toes. And so all the other groups have agreed to let New Paltz stick with the first Sunday in June forevermore. So, the group of us are working on the paperwork, to get that in for Sunday, June 1st, but, it's gonna be our day. New Paltz only having an event that day. Every other day in June, there's gonna be multiple events that you're gonna have to choose between, so Sunday, June 1st is gonna be just us.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Do we have anyone online who wants to share an announcement? Do we have anyone online?
No.
Okay. Next item is public comment. Is anyone here in person interested in making a public comment? Are you here for school? You need a signature, you know?
I will, yeah.
Okay, so we have New Paltz High School student?
Mhm.
Okay, so you're gonna need a signature, and then they show your teacher, get your participation in government class.
Yeah.
Well, ask us the hardball questions if anything doesn't make sense to you either.
Okay.
If we see any acronyms, call us out. We should be spelling it all out.
Or initialisms.
Yeah.
I move the consent agenda.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna roll here into the business agenda. Item number 1 is a resolution for our CDBG project. This is related to the grant award that we received. And then we also actually have 2 business and agenda items. Number 1 and number 2, they're both related to the same CDBG project. We're gonna be updating sewer mains. The first one has to do with compliance software, second one has to do with labor standards. I move that we pass both of them.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next item is, I drafted a resolution where we're officially urging our representatives in Albany to go ahead and finally update the New York State bottom bill. There's details in this resolution about how much 5 cents is worth in 2025 dollars compared to 1982. I think it's something like 16 cents now. So
Yeah.
the proposed legislation also including other bottles like non-carbonated bottles and glass. Glass is a giant problem in single stream recycling because it can contaminate the other recyclables, particularly cardboard. Cardboard has value, and once it gets contaminated with glass, it no longer has value. And then in this same resolution, we included details about the concept of establishing a extended producer responsibility act. So this thing got pretty far along the legislative process last summer, and then it hit a wall. I guess the fossil fuel industry got involved and stopped it. But the idea is that it would give the DEC the ability to come up with best practices for many different materials. Like we currently have rules about the manufacturers of carpet and how the carpet has to be handled moving forward. Same thing with tires. So this would just extend a process that would give the DEC the ability to have some oversight, and this way we could kind of manage what is produced and protect the environment and protect the pocketbooks of the consumers who are now stuck with dealing with all of this waste. So I move that we adopt the resolution and send it to all the legislators listed at the bottom of this resolution. Any further discussion, questions?
Just want to share on the bottle bill, like even the initial one, the data came out pretty soon thereafter about how impactful it was in getting those items out of, paths and waterways and stuff. And so, the past couple of years, like doing the annual cleanups and stuff, like what do you see? Nothing that has a bottle bill on it. So I'm really excited to see this be extended to other items.
Yeah, I tried to include a bunch of data in the resolution, which
I
was
feel like it
kind of wild, and that to the point that Alex was just emphasizing. So our redemption rates were at 75% between 1982 and 2000, and then from 2000 to 2020, they've dropped to 65%. And then you can compare that to Michigan, where they have a 10-cent redemption rate, and in 2019, their redemption rate was 89%. So they're, making sure that these containers are being sent in and deposits are being collected at a much higher rate than we are, and it's probably a result of our 5-cent amount is just entirely too inexpensive. The bill also includes additional money that gets spread across the state, and also goes back to the
APF.
the EPF, but also I think what's interesting is there's a higher share of money that goes to the centers that collect the bottles and cans, so that makes it more of a viable business, because there's a problem where a lot of those centers that collect the cans and bottles are just going out of business because it's not economically feasible unless they're earning more. All right, we can go back to the agenda.
Did we say?
Did we all in favor?
Aye.
And the next up is, the next item has to do with a news release that from Hudson and Mohawk Rivers Leachate Collaborative have been studying and included in a news release. So we have a draft letter of support. Mayor Noble up in Kingston has already signed on. We discussed this topic at the Supervisors and Mayors Association on Tuesday morning. So basically, what has gone on is that you'll have leachate that is a result of a capped landfill. So this is contaminated water that is full of forever chemicals, so PFAS, and instead of handling it in a more economically sensible way, we're just dumping it in area wastewater treatment plants. So wastewater treatment plants are designed to handle things like waste products that human beings create. The 4 Ps, we've gone over that before. I don't want to gross everyone out by listening what the 4 Ps are again, because Terrence already has it memorized. So, we don't want this 50, the PFAS. We don't want to put cancer causing chemicals in our waterways, particularly wastewater treatment plants that discharge effluent into drinking water sources like the Hudson River. So this is basically an initiative to get the DEC to take a closer look at creating regulations So we have an effective management and treatment process regarding this, these contaminated materials. I move that we sign on as village board to this support letter and send it to the appropriate regulators.
Second,
Any further comments?
Grateful again.
All in favor? Aye. Thanks,
Aye.
Donna. And the next item is kind of a housekeeping piece. So we had a draft resolution regarding a board initiated study in terms of government reorg back in Feb or January of 2024. So we've identified a path where we're using a consultant, LaBerge Group, and they're helping us create a study to look at the village government and the town government, and the study would involve dissolving the village so it then could be integrated with the town government, so we could have a more efficient super local government. So basically what we need is to formally resolve to commence a village board initiated dissolution study. So that's my motion. Does someone want to second it?
second,
All in favor?
aye,
And then the community choice aggregation program, so that is about to expire. So basically the way that works is the administrator of our community choice aggregation program goes out into the world, speaks to the various energy supply companies who sell generation, ideally green generation, try to get exclusively or primarily green generation, and at a reasonable price, lock in for a fixed rate, potentially lock in for a variable rate for a certain amount of time. So this is basically just an MOU that's saying we're okay with Jewel going out into the world, getting prices, and then coming back to us. And then if our collective agrees that we move forward, we've already green lighted as a board that we go ahead and lock in that price, because once you get bids, you have to be able to turn it around in short order. So someone wanna second my motion?
second,
I have just,
Gotcha.
a sidebar, I did a quick call to Central Hudson comparing direct energies with their prices. And I would say substantially before coming with, so there was some talk about direct energy being more costly in Central Hudson than some places.
Oh, more recently, the price, and so I think what's interesting about working as a collective is that sometimes you're gonna get a better price and sometimes you're gonna get a worse price. And I think during this most recent term, it actually was more expensive that we went with direct energy versus what Central Hudson had been offering for a pretty significant amount of time. That may have changed in the very recent
That
past.
month that I checked, I was
Yeah,
lower.
okay. Yeah, it ebbs and flows. I mean, the previous term, we looked like geniuses because we were in a CCA. And now we look like less than geniuses.
So I checked peak months like July and August and.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's right on their website. I mean, it's super interesting. You can, look at your electric bill, see how much you're paying. If we're in direct energy, and then. Yeah, there's a couple of different columns
Right.
on the Central Hudson website. So. This most recent stretch, it has been better. For the entire time to be in Central Hudson than the price that we secured with direct energy. But maybe like a handful of months, it might have been, it might have been better.
But that was also, that was not green energy, so there is an upside.
That's a very good point, right? So we, a condition that we asked for and we signed up for is that our generation is 100% renewable and local. That's the other thing too, it's sourced within New York State, so it's most likely hydro. And maybe a little bit of it.
yeah.
Okay,
It's kind of like, I always like to point out, it's kind of like how people used to participate in the fuel buyers group that NICRIC did, like as individuals, but this is like a bunch of municipalities getting together for, you know, like, just basically like a rate group, you know, and it locks us into something, you know, and make sure it's green and local, so.
right, and this is done by a local law and it's designed to be an opt-out program and not an opt-in. So if it's an opt-in, you have a whole lot less penetration and we're not gonna move the needle on our climate goals. If it's opt-in, but if someone did want to opt out, they could go ahead and select their own ESCO or use Central Hudson for their generation if that's what they wanted to do. So it's very different in comparison to our garbage single hauler contract. That is not an opt-in or an opt-out because it does not work unless you only have one truck driving through your neighborhood as opposed to several, creating damage to roads, creating emission issues, noise issues, and traffic congestion. So all in favor of moving forward, who seconded it?
I did.
Alex did.
All in favor?
And item number 7, approve changes to extend the working hours and pay of parking municipal code officer and assistants subject to union contract amendments. Someone want to second my motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then the next item has to do with the project that is being constructed as we speak in the old Agway site. Is a bit further along, including the agreements that are necessary, like the stormwater maintenance agreement, rail trail access agreement, developers agreement, and there's a fourth one here that's kind of a very big title. But the idea is that these agreements are between the property owner / developer and the village. So this has been vetted when we went ahead and moved forward with the project on the old Agway site. So this is now the new 3-story mixed-use building on the former Gateway site. So it's the identical agreements, just different.
The fourth one is, I thought, the summary of the 3 prior to
Oh, okay.
it, it's
Is it
like
like a
all in
cover
one.
letter?
It's like, it's a packet is kind of how I saw it, cause it's like
Yeah.
71-page version of it all, that was my read of it in prep, so. It's like, there's just 3 agreements, but it's all summed in one.
Yeah.
So that's what's interesting about a lot of these properties that are on the rail trail. So generally what we've done, so this includes like the proposed hotel next to Water Street Market, the Zero Place building, these couple of buildings. So it makes sense that they would have access to the rail trail, but that means that they would need an easement or a legal right to cross the village owned property, which is the rail trail. So we extend these easements because there's a net benefit to the community, A, connectivity, and B, we also include maintenance responsibility. So then the property owner that abuts the rail trail is responsible for, you know, keeping it cleaned up. And you know, like Zero Place is a great example. It's like the rail trail on that section is cleaned up, it looks nice, there's a drainage swale that you know, looks like it's attended to. So I think there's some significant benefit to having the property owners take on those responsibilities. All right, so did we move that?
No.
No,
Second.
all in favor?
I,
And then we have a contract, so we had an RFP process, we had 6 different solar installers provide us with proposals to put an array on the fire station building. Lighthouse Solar, New Paltz Company was selected. They've been a great partner just in terms of like helping us understand the process and the opportunity. And we have the contract with them, which has now been reviewed by our attorney. So we're looking to approve that this evening so they can get some solar panels up there and we can get a significant amount of the power that our super energy efficient fire station building uses sourced by the sun.
And for our student RFPs or requests for proposals.
An initialism, not a rift. Isn't that how you would say it? It's an acronym?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay,
So that federal tax credit of 20 grand, that's just for the installation, is that? Are there any other federal tax credits?
so this project will be entirely paid for by a grant that Brad helped us secure by NYSERDA. And federal tax credit, so we actually have some money left over, we spoke about that 2 meetings ago. To figure out if we could put ground mounted solar up at the water treatment plant property. You know, the new technology, and this is what I think is fascinating about new technology, and we saw this because we do greenhouse gas emissions. I'm actually meeting with Yvonne tomorrow to continue to go over this.
Pause.
But in 2018, we did a greenhouse gas emission study. And we tried to figure out how much power is used by our various buildings. And in particular, our sewer plant and water plant, which we knew were giant energy hogs. So the water plant, we then spent $5.5 million to put in a new state-of-the-art system. So it's also interesting about state-of-the-art systems, and I've learned this when we looked at sewer plant update options, is like they do a better job of treating materials, but they use a ton of energy doing it. So our water plant, not just the bills, but the actual kilowatt hours has more than doubled on an annual basis up at the water plant. Because we have an amazing, impressive state-of-the-art filtration system that's doing a kick butt job filtering our water, but that requires a ton of power. So our hope is to not get to net zero at all up at the water plant because it uses that much power, but if we could have some of the power paid for with solar generation, that would be very nice to just reduce bills up at the water plant. So we could use more money to pay for things like new water main pipes.
Yeah.
But that's a different project that we're in the midst of working on and trying to pivot. And ask the county to reconsider how we could spend some of that solar award, because they provide us with $100,000 award if we show up with 100% match. So the project has to be at least $200,000 to get the full 1%. So that's what we're working on regarding the water plant. So did we move this contract?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then available positions, so. I liked Brad's idea, so we're looking to hire additional parking enforcement officers. Is this the new rate, $22.37 per hour? Is that reflective of what, so that might not be what the union just ratified?
Oh, no, this was from something from like 2 months ago.
Yeah, so that's the
Yeah.
old rate. So the new rate is greater than that. I don't have that off the top of my head. But we're looking to hire parking enforcement officers on a part-time basis for a rate that is greater than $22.37 per hour. And that would be for 6, 12, or 18 hours per week, including weekends. And then the next item is we have an RFP to hire a consultant, to hire an engineer to help us with everything that's not water and sewer. We've used Bernier and Larios. We want to use them exclusively for water and sewer, and then lean on a different engineering firm when we're doing stuff like playgrounds, stormwater, sidewalks, skate parks, whatever it might be. So this RFP is gonna be shared with the universe, and we're hoping to get responses back from several qualified engineering firms that we could use for some of these non-water and sewer contracts. So I move that we go ahead and make that RFP available publicly.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And then we also have an opportunity for an individual, so
Yeah, sorry, just wanted to pull that up.
go ahead, just so we're looking to hire a secretary to serve the design review board / historic preservation commission, and we have a full job description attached to this agenda that will also make public. I move that we make this job description public and likely find several candidates. Bill seconded it, all in favor?
And just on the job description, which is like, it's so good, it's like really well detailed, I think it's already kind of been out there, just note that February 1st is when they start the review of applications, so, you know, jump on this now.
Okay, and then let's move building claims,
Second.
all in favor? Really gonna do planning board, latest on update.
I had none, last night was a fire department meeting, at the same time.
Okay, so ZBA update, folks in the community have been asking about the former Best Pizza location at 52 Main, so the. Woman who had been involved in Jamaican Choice previously had to go and get a variance so that they could serve alcohol. You know, because of its proximity to nearby school or church, so all of those issues have been addressed and the variance was granted. So that is the first item I'm sharing information out on. And then the second application had to do with a 5-foot height variance at the property at 30 and 32 Cooper Street. The property owner is looking to build a single family home, and they needed the height of the building to be 35 feet instead of 30 to accommodate solar. And so that's in the review process, the application process. And then the other item that the ZBA is reviewing is located at 25 North Chestnut Street. This is behind the Los Jalapenos building. There's looks like an old barn that's been used as a residential structure, and the applicant is looking to basically just rebuild what is there, but make it more updated and compliant. So this does require a variance because our code wouldn't ordinarily allow that type of structure to be built the way it is, but this is like pre-existing non-conforming. But they would still need variance to go ahead and put it forward. So that's the three items that the ZBA has looked at their most recent meeting. Anything else from our board? No, okay, motion to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Bill, you're trying to unplug that.
Signature.